federal government, any liberal government is going to respect provincial jurisdictions in healthcare, but the fact is a huge amount of financing of the public healthcare system in Quebec comes from the federal government. $43 billion committed by the Paul Martin government in 2004, which has run right through 2014. And what we're saying, the question was asked about accountability. I think the federal government has a role in healthcare, provided it respects provincial jurisdiction, to make sure that your access to healthcare not only doesn't depend on what's in your wallet, but doesn't depend on your postal code. We need to make sure that roughly equal services are available to Canadians across the country. That's an interest that Quebecers have. But let me just say one key thing here. This comes down to a moment of choice. You can either spend it on corporate tax breaks, multi-million-dollar expenditure on prisons, billions on jets, big gifts to upper middle class Canadians to reduce their taxes, or you can support healthcare. This is why this election is so important. We've got to make choices here. And if I have to choose, I'm choosing healthcare. That's the chief priority of Canadians right across the country. And that's why we've committed to a 6% increase after 2014. And then Patty's question is, how do we get accountability? How do we make sure that we drive reform and change in the system so the money we've got serves Canadians better? And that's why I think a federal role in healthcare is important.
Stephen Harper and Jack Leyton. Stephen Harper and Jack Leyton. Let's be clear about the choices. We want to keep our economy on track so we can continue to fund and increase funding for our healthcare system. The choice Mr. Ignatieff puts before you and the other parties, that you somehow have to choose between the military and healthcare, you somehow have to choose raising taxes if you want to keep benefits. It's a false choice. The Liberal Party, when it was in office, raised taxes, and they cut healthcare, and they cut education, and they cut pensions, and they cut all these things because when they raised taxes, they hurt economic growth and they hurt the economy. That is a false choice. We're all moving forward together. We need a low-tax future where we can continue to fund and increase funding for our healthcare system. That's what we're doing, that's what we're succeeding at, and that's the path we've got to stay on.
Jack Leyton. The problem with both Mr. Harper's party and Mr. Ignatieff's party is that they don't propose to do anything now. They're talking about something far off into the future. And if you look at their platforms, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's no investments right now in getting the significant increase in family doctors and nurses that we need today. There's 5 million Canadians who don't have family medicine. We're not getting the investments in home care and long-term care that are needed today. And we're not seeing proposals on how we can actually implement, including with some funding, the program to begin to get our pharmaceutical prices down. And that's what the NDP is offering.
Mr. Ignatieff, then Mr. Doucette.
That's just completely false. We're the only party in this election with a specific proposal on family care, so that you can take time off for work to look after a loved one at home, so you can get some reimbursement of your expenses providing health care in the home. That's a key dynamic in the future that we've got to invest in and strengthen. The other thing we need to be saying to Canadians is we need more health, not necessarily more health care. Health prevention, health education. We're the only party with a national food policy to put more Canadian food on Canadian plates and get the salt, fat, and sugar down. That's how you get better value for your healthcare dollar. That's how we improve the health of Canadians. That ought to be the goal. That's in our platform. That's the kind of commitment we're prepared to make.
It's a promise you're making. Unfortunately, your party has a rather long history of making promises in elections and breaking them
Jack,
after.
at least we get into government. You'll be in opposition forever.
There's that sense of entitlement once again. Same old attitude from the Liberal Party.